Hello, ROYALQ Power Team. Good evening. After the weekend presentation, so many questions came in, but I think the only two which, should I say, I've not really touched in individual videos. Most of the questions you can find them in all the videos I've done, but I think two very important ones which I think I've given due consideration to is the first one, it was very recurrent. People kept on asking, with rare Q, with dollar cost average, can we enter the market anytime at all, or do we have to wait for a particular time to enter the market? Well, this is my own opinion because it works for me. You can enter the market anytime with rare Q. However, there are some things you might want to consider. So, for example, let's say this Bitcoin, for example, it's like we know the all-time high is about $64,000. That's the all-time high. But it's in recent times, it's approaching, at least for the last 2 or 3 months, it's approaching an all-time high. It went as high as 57,900 today. Though it's retracing to $55,000. Okay. However, what I can say is this: if you should have an idea of at what point in time we are in the market, either bullish or bearish. Bitcoin seems to be very bullish. The Bitcoin dominance this period is much. Okay. So this can always inform you. So if it's at this point, you can enter the market, no doubt. But the only place you need to give due consideration to is your margin call settings. Now, remember this phrase: he that is down does not need fear of falling. Abi, it is only he that is up. So, for example, now that the market is up, you can always imagine that if it wants to correct itself, it is possible for it to do up to 40%, meaning it's possible to do minus 40% correction, minus 50% correction. For example, when we go back to this graph, we can see it is coming from a support level of about $39,000, which we can see somewhere around here. So, yeah, so we can see it's coming from a support level of $39,000 up here to $57,900. So meaning if it wants to retrace, what I always say, the way you see it rise, that's the same way you see it come down. That's crypto for you. It's not just an upward movement continuously. So it's also possible for it to do a retracement back to this level. Okay. So what that simply means is while setting your margin call, be rest assured that you need to give allowance just in case. What if this happens? So set your margin calls with that in mind. Use a whole lot of spacing. I'm sure for those who have seen, I set my trade for whatever condition, be it bullish and bearish. And the truth is, ROYALQ helps you to do perfect capital management. It simply means even your capital has been allocated for you. For example, permit me to take a quick digression here. This is a trade I set for a new account today on ROYALQ, and it's trading $586 with just Solana alone. And when you check out this trade, look at what happens here. This is my margin call I'm using. So if you notice this, for my first five margin calls, I'm saying if it falls by 1%, buy another $40, falls by another 1%, buy another $40. No, another one, another one, another one. So if you check my five margin calls, 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm simply saying if it falls by what 6%, buy what $40, $40, $40. I'm using $200 for these first positions. However, if the market starts dipping in a very bad manner, you can now see I'm giving bigger gaps here. All right. To it gets to a point. I'm now saying, okay, let's imagine the market is now going really crazy, like very crazy. You understand? So by the time you put all this together, the simple instruction I'm saying is this $500 I'm using, if the market falls by 36%, I would still be game in the market. That is the analogy that is here. That's just the simple setting. So the challenge people will face is in a bullish market, for example, okay, in a bullish market, the market might not fall as low. It might not fall below here. In a bullish market, the market will always retrace itself. It might retrace itself up to 6%, up to 7%. Good and fine. I'm not worried. But I am not going to be tempted to the point of saying because it's just trading on this level, then I should now maybe go and set another coin. Why? Because if the market decides to now correct itself, like we would see, at various points in time, I still just want to be in position. So this is what we call capital management. Capital management simply means even when you're trading as a manual trader, you do not put everything at the market once. You're simply saying, just in case the market falls, I want to buy dips. So you, for example, having a setting like this, you have simply allocated the $586 to one coin, telling yourself in a bullish market that the market is not falling below 5 or 6%, it's just up there going down and up. I want to be scalping and be making my profit jelly. But should it now eventually come down to the deep, just the same way manual trader will now start buying with buying at this point. It is now as it's dipping to the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth, whatever level. You understand? Then you are now releasing the funds. You are now buying, speaking up from your USDT and it's buying. So this is like an automated form of risk management and financial management for you. So it depends on how you set it. So in that case that the market is already up, as we can see, then it goes to show you what it goes to show you that um you should use appropriate capital management, meaning set small gaps just in case it falls. However, if the market is somewhere around here, $39,000 for example, as it was here, it's the saying now, he that is down does not need a fear of falling. This is the perfect time to enter the market. You might want to consider using maybe less margin calls, or the gap might not be as wide as what you would use when it's already up, because you're already envisaging is you don't low, you don't low. If at all you want low passes, it's too big, that kind of mindset in trading, right? But you can also use appropriate capital management. That's just it. Have an idea of it basically. So I think that answers the question. Then the next question we need to take note of is the second question was this manual replenishment. How do we know? So let's say I've bought to my seventh margin call and the price now goes very low and I want to do manual replenishment. How does the bot know what to do? How does the bot help me get out of it? It's very simple. You might not be able to have the perfect example because the particular account I'm using has not bought much margin calls. Okay. Okay, this particular account I just bought about two margin calls, right? But this is the idea. The bot uses what we call the average price. Now, what is average price? Now, you can see the average price here. Now, we all know how to do average, or let me just quickly explain it. So let's say, for example, I want to do average of five different prices. So I entered the market first of all at $18. When the price fell to 17, I entered the market. When the price fell to 16, I entered the market. It fell to 15, I entered the market, and now it's at 14. I've entered the market. So these are five positions I've entered. The total position amount is what 80, right? But to get the average position price is what I will simply divide that 80 by 5 to know the average, which is what 16. So this is the average position price. So but what if now, let's say I enter the market at 18 plus 17 plus 16 plus 15 plus 14. This is the one we did before. But let us now imagine the price of the coin now fell as low as 9, 9 naira. And I want to now do manual replenishment at that level to be able to get out of the floating loss. So, and let's say it fell to 9 naira and I want to now buy like five more positions since it's at 9 naira. So I'm not going to be plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. That's how many? 4 plus another 9. So earlier I opened what? Five positions, okay, at 18, 17, 16, 15, and 14. But now it's not at 9 naira. So I want to open five more positions at this low price to be able to reduce the average price. So that will now be what? First, it was one, two, three, four, five. We've added another five position at lower rates. So everything will give us a total of 125. For us to now get the average price, it will be 125 divided by what? 10, because we have already opened 10 position. Your average price is now what? 12.5. So what that now simply means, remember the price now is presently at what? $9, for example. Now, since we bought more positions when the price is at what? $9, our average price has now been reduced to what? $12. It therefore means that, remember you started entering the market when it was what? $18. So, but now your average price has been reduced because you have bought more dips. Your average price has now been reduced to $12. It therefore means as soon as the price reaches $12, $12.5 and above, you're already in profit. You're already out of your floating loss. That's what, because you have been able to beat down. You've bought more when it was lower. As such, you have cancelled so many of your average price. So your average price, which was earlier 16, has now been what? Brought down to what? 12.5. So as soon as the market is now above $12.5 and higher, it shows therefore you're already in profit because what you've already cancelled, you've brought down, cancelled your floating loss by what reducing your average price. So I hope we now understand this concept of when to enter the market and how to do what now, how to do the manual what replenishment.